pavement at a hole of 250 meters, I'll execute 7%. Why only 7%? Because I'm postponing 43% of the surface layer as well as the second layer that is postponed till following the inauguration of 1 year and a half. 43% is postponed, and the rest is prevented, but the rest till we reach of the percentage of land that we're talking about 3 linkage of layers. We made only the first layer, until we open the axis, we'll open it on the first one linkage. This is, as you can see, the old axis. 50 centers of the water volume that would cause a landslide of a year. So each year would have the same problem, but today we've reached 9 lanes and above of the surface of water to 3.5 meters higher than of the water, top of the water. The movement of the water would not affect at all the road. Later, the next, this is an execution status of executing October 2020. In the same time, in July 2021, we'll have 9 lanes of each. That was postponed due to moving the electric towers. Therefore, this is to clarify where were we and now. So we are to wait till the end of this year, God willing. This is the volume of challenges and the volume of the machinery in a very small area. This was in January 2021, and now we're in October 2020, as we can see how it was. We had the castle drainage that causes a great problem in Alexandria. We've already moved this drainage of 90% of execution in order to expand the road of that direction, and we'll have the special road for the people to Alexandria. And we have the works of water and the agricultural irrigation, because we are working on the water, through the waters, in order to Ministry of Irrigation and the fishery well. Therefore, we have favors in the route and the lower of the thing, the pacing of 500 meters, and we have 2,000 and 1,500 meters to divert the path of 5 kilometers. These are not roads works, but they are necessarily to work that is linked to our works. We're working off 3,000 fedans of the basin, and we've coordinated with the fishery authority and the Ministry of Irrigations and all the relevant bodies to make in the middle of the route of 300 fedan, because these works are working on 20 meters of multiplied by 100 meters of basin that are left for 6 months to be dried out, and then will be moved, and in the winters will take more than that, 1 year. So that requires 1 year to 1.5 to move the production. We've designed the land of 600 fedans, so with the coordination of the relevant bodies. This would be natural Iceland for warming the fishery productions, and will have 20% of the water surface. That was a great idea to sort out a lot of problems. We've worked of 1.5 cubic meters, 1.5 million of cubic meters. And the second challenge that was in intersection of all the facilities, the pipelines, this is working, so I cannot deal with it alone, I cannot cancel, so I had to work in parallel. As you can see in the other file, we supervised with the Ministry of Petroleum to secure, and we had no problems till now. Next, the challenges of all the relevant authorities. Next, once we do the drainage by the cement pipes underneath the road that have problems because of the same soil to be derived or weakened, therefore the pipe could be broken. But we had to, with the consultant, to make an site to make the linkage of the pipes underneath it, as you can see, its bases to bear the load on top. Next, this is the challenge, the 6,000 basin. These are the drying up bases as you directed to the basin of 6,000. These basins were built along 1 year, so we cannot be moved because they are not dried out yet. Next, we've made maintenance of the pipelines, and as we work in one of the biggest and dangerous facilities, and we've already executed 56% by Meditab companies and the rest under their technical supervision. Next, we have 18 bridges of 89% of execution. Till date, the surface of bridges is 320 that is in place. So the axis. Next, we've used in bridges 135 tons of steel and 14,000 of metal cameras. These deepen bases of 24 to 40 depths. 230 were executed. Next, as you can see, the forms of the bridges and its execution percentage. Next, Ahmed, we've agreed upon that any drainage to elevate its efficiency, to do the laying out on both sides. We had to remove the old bridges because it's not going to work with us in a Bari bridge area that serve 127 portal of the port. And here, this is Al Qabari bridge and 127 bridges we've talked about. Next, 121 kilo bridge to make three lanes, and to make it lines, we've already narrowed the bridges and we made the 4 and 4 lanes in directions to save the time and the money as well as the execution. So there is a intersection of the bridges with the electrical towers. We, as teamwork, the electrical tower is existing. As you can see, I couldn't work here because of the high tensional electrical towers, and of course the relevant body were cooperating with us to close it for 6 hours to give us a time for finishing the works. Next, the light in the road, as it will be high mast of a height of 25 meters. We have 244 poles of total 155 as planned, with percentage of execution of 35%. The alignment of the road is different from the road. We have 500 were in place, of total 416 of a height 1.5 meters. Of the execution percentage of 42%. The next, the high pressure, with the coordination of Ministry of Electricity, all the powers were moved of 94%. It is only a few left. At the end of the year will be finished. As you can see, the construction axis of 58 kilometers and the extension of 15 till Burg Al Arab Road of 15 kilometers of depth of 9 lanes, widths of 9 lanes till the middle land, Al-Gadir al-Wusta, and the area of Wadi Maryut and the Malahat areas of 6,000. The area that we are working of 15 kilometers, it is the same type of sign of the first sector of the current axis, which is the best quality of the three. The worst one was in Al-Malahat, but here will be much better, which is the sector that is like that we are in right now. Next, the axis would include 4 horizontal axes, will be of 6 engineering and industrial works of bridges of 18 kilometers length, and to execute the pipes and the ferries to maintain the water there. Next, followed Mariam axis, which is very important to link the coastal road of the international coastal road with the Burg Al Arab Al Kafuri road to cross the electrical train to reach the western arrow at Burg Al Arab airport. It would include 6 lanes of each direction to execute the pipes of 1,500 meters in length. Next, Maria axis in short. This is the design and the engineering works of 14 kilometers as a whole. This is Maria Avenue to be executed, the first Olympic village at the western direction of the Republic, to execute the Burg Al Arab Stadium of 135,000 Fedan, which is very important, is Al-Nubariya Lake, to have the western arrow, which is the idea of the Ministry of Housing that was expected to work in another direction, but the idea of linking the east with the west of Alexandria, governorate of the road of 25 kilometers length. Al-Mariyatiyya Lake of 122.5 kilometers will take only the first 25 kilometers of the road, and the rest will have industrial works. Next, the path of the eastern arrow, 54 portal at the port to be executed. The bridge to be executed right now were taken from the construction axis to go down to intersect with the desert road. Next, as you can see, the engineering works. Next, the previous slide, about 300,000 cubic meters and the works of 25 kilometers, and as well as the engineering works on the same path. Next, the designing sector. This Al-Nubariya Lake, which is a very important waterway throughout the Aegis in Egypt, and as you can see, Third, the port, sanitation water plants, voted from the backward. Here is a very important engineering work at Al Nobariyarek, and the lake's path is directly to the right, and then to the left goes to the point. I would like to say to Dr. Mohammed and Dr. Mustafa, when I enter such a lake, to make two sides and to be beautified in order to save the mobility and following the effort all exerted that serve a great amount of sector of the agricultural land. While we're working this, the state apparatus of each trespassing at the bridge of the lake to be removed. We are talking about that the undergoing road to be under the design insert. Is it going to be working on the right or right at the left? But we've decided to elevate the efficiency of this lake, its bridges, and to make access for passages. Next, Al Nubariya Lake, as you can see, is the desert road. As you taking the pass away from Al Nubariya Lake, as you can see, is the desert Alexandria Road to be at the end, to take in from this point to be integrated to reach the Burj Al Arab zone as well as the Burj Al Arab Stadium. This is to be executed and started by the Ministry of the Housing of 20 kilometers road. Then by hand taken another road, a new road of 90 kilometers from Alexandria, or the old desert road, and the current road, have 6 lanes of each direction. So it would be helpful of the development area. Next, the cost of all this work around 75 billion Egyptian pound, of total 140 kilometers, including the eastern